Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back to another episode of FDR Logging. Because what? I am FDR, and what am I doing? I'm logging. Simple. Can't get more simple than that for a series, right? So, question of the day. I don't know if I can really accurately ask this. I've had 3 or 4 people ask me this, and multiple emails asking me about it too. And that is my opinions of Farming Simulator 2025. So I don't have the game. I don't have access to the game. Some people think I have access to the game. I don't know where they got that from, but I do not have access to the game. I have no idea. Other than the videos that all of you have seen, I am very much in the dark as much as you guys are on, the information about the game itself. So I'm not really entirely sure how much of an opinion I can really give to you guys. Sorry, just turning this beast around here. All I know is the game is coming out in November. Yes, it will have logging. Apparently there was a video, like a FarmCon video or something, where they went into talking about the trees or something a little bit more. Unfortunately, I was not able to find that, at least that section. There's a lot of content on the event itself, so if somebody has the link to the exact moment of when they talk about logs, that'd be great. I don't really have enough time to skim through all the videos, as discussed in previous episodes about my crazy busy life. So I didn't see that section, but some people said they talked about possible physics improvements or something. But the thing is, I'm getting so many different reports from people about what was said that I don't know if people are just hearsaying or whether it's actually true or not. I have no idea. Anyway, I don't really care. I think there's improvements. Yes, for sure. Like the lighting, I think it looks really nice. Maybe that'll be a nice improvement. Hopefully some performance related stuff. Maybe from what I've seen, it's like they just kind of upgraded this game a little bit, but it's exactly the same engine, all that kind of stuff. So I hate to be the cynical guy, but that's me. I am occasionally quite cynical. I'm very positive, but also very cynical towards stuff that's repeating. And I'll give you an example. So cell phones. I know it's totally off the beaten topic of what we're talking about, but yet it's the same. So cell phones, I always have this, okay, so cell phones, video cards, computers, everything, right? Technology in general. So for the longest time when I was growing up, and I'm dating myself because I'm old here, but for the longest time, I wouldn't upgrade my equipment. I wouldn't upgrade my computer. I had like a 5 to 8 year window. Actually, probably was even more back then because technology development was much slower. So I'd buy an NVIDIA graphics card, and I wouldn't upgrade that graphics card for like 5 to 7 years because honestly, there wasn't that big of an improvement to the graphics cards in that time. So this trend, and I always say iPhone was the beginning of that trend, where every single year, instead of like, okay, we made this beautiful flagship product that is amazing. Okay, now we're going to spend, the next 10 years developing an even better one so that in 10 years it'll be worth the upgrade, right? Video games do the same thing. Call of Duty does the same thing. Where they say, oh, well, we got this game. We worked on it for 10 years. It's the most amazing thing ever. Here it is. Enjoy, people. And you're like, sweet. But then now, all of a sudden, people got on the trend of novelty, right? Where, I don't know if it's our attention spans have dropped off the face of the earth or what it is, but every single year, or not even year at this point, it's every, 3 to 6 months, there's a new product line, a new this, a new that. And the improvements on that product are barely at all. They're, maybe a 5 to 10% increase per year that I've seen. Video cards is a great example of that. Every single year there's a new series of NVIDIA cards or AMD cards or processors. And the improvements on the equipment itself is, maybe a 5 to 10% better thing. But the price margin is exactly the same. So I always tell people, I was like, well, would you rather Would you rather pay, $500 to $600 a year every year to get a 5% gain, or save that money and wait 5 years and pay that same $500 to $600 for a 40 to 50% gain over what you're using right now? The market of people and consumerism is very determined, I guess would be the word to use. They're very determined to get whatever the newest thing is. And I mean, that's nothing new. It's been like that throughout history. But they're very determined to get the newest this, the newest whatever. So everyone always chases the newest product. Now, the reason I'm bringing all this up in relation to Farming Simulator is I feel it's a very similar concept. So yes, maybe it's a longer wait. We're not getting a new Farming Simulator every year. But unfortunately, I'm starting to see I've seen the trend for a while where, even in the 2-year period between games or whatever it is, I'm not seeing a grandeur improvement to the point where it's worth even buying a new game. And again, maybe that sounds cynical of me to say that, but yeah. I mean, I looked at it was the same concept coming over from 2019 to FS22. Not a huge improvement, in my opinion. I mean, it was a new game, sure. Had some new features, sure. I just didn't feel overall it was a huge upgrade. And I mean, I'm not just talking from the logging point of view. Like, I have lots of friends in this community who are the farming side, and they also felt, they just slapped some extra paint on Farming Simulator 2019 and called it FS22. FS25 feels like they're doing the same thing again. Now, I've listened to interviews from the developers of this game talking about, trying to recreate the engine and what a complicated process it is, yada, yada, yada. And I get that they have a working game that is, it has everything that they need, and they don't want to try to have to rebuild all that because it would be a big nightmare. But at the same time, even as a developer, you have to hit the point of like, are we falling behind in the market? Do we want to adhere to new optimizations in games? There's better engines out there that could be optimized to have all these features if they had the experience and the technology to do it and the team to do it. But they're choosing not to because it's a lot of expense and a lot of extra work. Right? And I'm not speaking for the developers. This is just my view from all the things that I've heard. This is my consumer view. There might be a lot more to it, and I'm sure there is a lot more to it that I don't understand from the company's perspective, more so than financial, more so than team members. But the image they've given to us and myself, the way I read it as a consumer, and this is how I see it, is that as soon as they switched over to supporting consoles, they just started pumping out the games as much as possible. Instead of working on the core dynamics and actually improving the game like in a larger amount every time a game comes out, they focused more on, okay, we got to get the next game out. Okay, we got to get the next game out because the people want a new game. The people want a new game. And it's partly to blame is us. We as the consumers have been encouraging it by purchasing the game over and over and over and over and over with the same exact features, the same exact everything. So, yeah, I mean, looking at it, like I said, from my point of view, again, I'm a bit cynical, but I don't personally see enough improvements to warrant it as like a, groundbreaking new game. And maybe I'll get flack for saying that, but I don't really care. It's kind of true. I mean, I'm not the only one saying it. I'm sure there's other people that can kind of see the writing between the walls, so to speak. I'm just going to process this pile, actually, before we get going here. What other thing I want to do is I'm going to use this little cheat code to give us a better daylight. There we go. Oh, and we get some nice little rain as well. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody's asking my opinion on it, on the game. And they say, what do you think? What's going to happen? What are you going to do? So the trend, because this game is already a niche market as it is, especially for someone like me who's, doing mod development, of course I got to go to the new game. because that's where the majority of the players are going to be, and that's where the majority of the players are going to move to. So because we're already such a niche market as it is with what we have, I do have to follow the trend and go with the new game, even though part of me would rather almost kind of like boycott it until there's actually some worthy changes. Again, I've heard lots of people talking about the logging side, and again, I can't speculate because I didn't watch the development video, or I didn't find that section that they talked about the logging. I did look a little bit, but I didn't find that section. So if in FS25 all of a sudden there's some kind of really grandiose improvement to the logging side, or even to the engine side that, you know, is beneficial to the logging side, then, you know, maybe I will take my foot out of my mouth on that. But so far I haven't really heard anything dynamically groundbreaking. And the way I look at it is just like FS19 to FS22, it's the same engine. So all of these physics that you're witnessing right now before your eyes will be the same. The physics are not going to be changed. Maybe they will add new variables that, I don't know, that change it or something, but I personally do have my doubts. Actually, you know what? Let's chop these tops up and throw them in there, because we're using the pulpwood grapple. It'll just kind of slide in there a bit. They're not very nice ends, but we'll make it work. So yeah, I don't know. Again, cynical. My bar is very low, like it always is. I just imagine it's going to be this game with a different HUD. Maybe some new features. The weather, the dynamic fog in that might be good, might not be good. The problem is I never really enjoyed the lighting in this engine. That's why I never log at night. So maybe that'll change with the new game. Maybe that's going to be some new dynamically great change. But again, I am very skeptical, and the bar is very low in my mind of what's going to be all that new. So I think it's just FS22. They slapped a new coat of paint on her and called her good. Who knows? But again, I am very much I'm very much a PC guy. I have nothing against consoles. We own consoles and I play on consoles, but for this game, I really, really, really do wish it never went to console. I really wish it would have just stayed to PC and they would have focused on the development. But maybe that would have been the downturn too. Maybe they would have lost money. Maybe they would have lost customers because of not providing it to a larger fan base. So, I don't know. There's so many ways you can look at it. But as a modder, I think the downturn of this game in terms of the simulation side went to absolute crap when it went to console, because they stopped caring about the actual simulation process and they started caring more about getting as many people as they could, which is what a business does, and then whatever. That's why the other part of me is like, well, they're trying to make the most money possible because they're a business. When me as a modder, I'm actually looking the dead opposite, because this isn't a business for me financially. It's more of a, I want to get the best quality physics, the best quality, experience, similar to what you can do in a, realistic simulation experience. And that's what I want. So what I want and what they want are probably two very different things. And maybe members of their team all feel differently about it. Maybe some people want it. Maybe some people don't. So that's kind of my opinion on FS25. I will be pleasantly surprised and happy if there are new features that are fantastic and look great. Bonus. But for me as a modder, it's like, oh great, here's another game. So now we just gotta reconvert all our mods again and start all over. Tell our fans to go push on to the new game that may or may not be worth it. Even though it's probably going to be the exact same experiences we're having right now on the screen that you're watching. I don't think it's going to change at all. I almost wish they would make a new game every 10 years or something, so that there's actually enough development changes to make it worthwhile. Because like I said, now we're kind of on the we're on the path of the iPhone, where every single year there's a new iPhone. The iPhone 5, the iPhone 6, the iPhone 7. And between the years, you're not looking at a huge performance bump. Year by year, you're looking at a 5 to 10% increase on performance, which is not fantastic. When if you wait 10 years, it's going to be a 40 to 50% upgrade, which is really exciting. That's just not how businesses work anymore. Businesses need constant profit and constant upward momentum. Otherwise, the investors cry. But anyway, like I said, that's not controversial, so you can't ban us for that. I'm not getting into anything juicy there, so. It's hate speech. There you go. Hate speech towards gaming companies. Wouldn't even be surprised. Yeah, I don't know. It's, as much as I want to greet the new game with open arms and a smile, we'll see. We'll see. I try to not be as cynical as I am, but I've been playing this game for a while, and I kind of have a pretty good prediction of what it's going to be. Where am I on the map here? Let's take a quick peek. How far are we from the river? We got quite a ways to go. So basically, I cut this little line. My plan was to back cut all of this. You know what? Let's just start chopping and we'll see what happens. We're starting our little line here, so we'll just kind of grind down here and keep chopping in a line till we hit the water. Yeah, well, so yeah, I don't, until I see more information coming out about the game or some videos on the logging side. And again, I'm not the best person to ask about this for opinions in terms of the game itself, because I'm in the nichest part of it, which is the logging, which normally doesn't really get talked about and nobody really cares about. At least that's been the growing trend over the years. So we're the redheaded stepchild, and we're usually the last ones to know what's going on in terms of the logging. Until we get the game, we can't really dive in. But November's coming. It's not going to be much longer. Summer's kind of at its end almost here, and it's going to be coming up here real quick. So we'll all get to jump right in and see. Whoops. But yes, hopes are not high, unfortunately. Sorry for the sadness and the downward attitude towards it, but it's rinse and repeat. I was really hoping, because we had heard rumors and stuff about them potentially upgrading to the Unreal Engine, and maybe, hey, you never know, like that's a big process. That could take years and years and years and years. Maybe they're working on that stuff in the sidelines, right? That's all possible. Maybe that's all going on and we just don't know about it. So they're just releasing games as is to keep the profit margins up while they work on a bigger project in the background. That's what I hope would be going on. Or maybe they've given up on development entirely and they're just repainting the same game over and over and selling it. All speculation. Big piles of speculation on my part. We're gonna see how many trees we can cut down on this map before it crashes. Oops. Let me grab that tree. Gotcha. Sneaky little bugger. So much frickin' you get so much brush in the head here you can't even see what you're grabbing anymore. You just kind of got to go by braille and hope you nailed it. Let's go like here. Okay, I want to make sure I'm going in a straight line here. Well, not really straight at all, but that's okay. I should almost back up and then go right there and cut that line. Maybe we'll do that. It's amazing how you get turned around while you're operating, you don't even notice. Okay, so that's this line. So I think we need to go like straight out, if that's correct. Yeah, so let's go to the opposite side of this pile, I guess, and we'll just continue on straight. But you guys, you know what? What's your opinion? What do you guys think? You don't have to agree with me. Absolutely disagree with me. You can totally not agree with anything I'm saying. You can say, no, man, FS25 is going to be an absolute game changer for the series. It'll be brand new. And everything will be different, and it'll all be better, and life will be great again. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true, though. We're kind of... I see the river now anyway, so maybe we'll just kind of stop here. It feels not worth trekking all the way over there for 2 or 3 trees, so I think we're going to turn and start heading back inwards. Yeah, so maybe what we'll do is we'll stick to this edge. And wherever the brown trees are there, I think that's kind of... or the brown ground is, we'll use that as kind of our edge while we're chopping here. Either way, there's going to be a lot of skidding when we're done. I'll probably come up with the piler and just make giant massive piles all over the place. That's usually how I roll. I guess we will just go like, yo. It's kind of the joys of the flat, when you're cutting on flat stuff, is you just... it's very methodical. You just go through and cut your little lines and your little rows, and life is good. Ooh. Ooh, these are heavy trees, eh? Hefty. So yeah, hopefully that answers some of the questions, because I have no idea. More information will come out, I'm sure, over the next month and stuff to tease and get everybody all excited about the new game, and maybe there will be some groundbreaking, like I said, stuff related to logging that they will release and say, hey, guess what, guys? Logging's 50,000% better. You won't believe the difference. Physics engine is way better. Yeah, anyway. I don't think so, but hopeful. Honestly, even if they did, like, so they got the ground deformation thing, right? And lots of people are talking about that. I've seen it in my Discord and in the comments and stuff. People talking, oh, it's got ground deformation. I think some people might not realize exactly how that is. So, from what I've seen, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm willing to accept that I may be wrong. From what I've seen, it's only related to the actual crops themselves, like the terrain with the crops on it. So I think that might be what's going on. I don't think it's, like, from the videos I saw of them doing the demos, like, I saw tractors running over the grass, I saw tractors running over the pavement. I didn't see any deformation or removal of the grass when he drove over it with the tractor. When he went in the field, yes, you can see it on the ground, like in the actual plowed field that left the track marks or whatever the case. But I didn't see anything in terms of it. Ground destruction, like where I just walked with this machine, for example, right? I have my tracks. There should be a gnarly line through that grass where I just drove through, leaving the ground all ripped up, or at least the grass trampled down or removed, right? And I didn't see any of that from the new videos that came out. And I watched them, I wouldn't say horrifically thoroughly, but that's the kind of stuff I was looking for. So I think if you're going to introduce something into a game saying, oh yeah, ground destruction or ground deformation as a selling feature of a new game, it should probably include the ability to actually destroy the ground, wouldn't you think? But I'm hoping people in the comments will just destroy me on this and be like, Jordan, you didn't watch the video clearly. Look, check this. And fact check me. Go, if you have a section like where I'm totally wrong, and it's absolutely possible because I did not spend a whole lot of time looking at it. If there's a section that you can quote, like post the video in the comments with the exact time of where the person is talking about it, and enlighten me, because maybe there's something I missed. You can be like, oh look, they said right here, they showed it, and not saying it. I don't want someone saying it. I want to see it. Because in the past at farm cons, they've said a lot of stuff that wasn't true. They said like, oh, that's going to be like this, and then you get in the game and it's like 1/1000th of what they said it was going to be, right? And that's kind of how I feel about the ground deformation. Is it's like, oh, they're using that as a selling feature, like it's a big change, it's a big deal. But in the videos, I'm really not impressed with what I'm seeing, because it doesn't really look like what it's being sold as. But again, I remain hopefully optimistic. You never know. It's It's gonna take me 6 months to clear all these trees. This is a lot of bunching out here, I'll tell you. This is kind of the pattern I make when I'm cutting, is I'll go back and forth and I kind of lay them in between the piles, make like little V's. And the trees aren't really thick in these areas, so what I'll do, just to make the piles a little bit more worthy, is I'll back up. Make sure I'm dumping at least 5 to 6 logs in a pile if I can. Or 4 in that case, because that's all we got in this line. But some lines will have, like, you know, huge bunches, and then other lines will have, like, absolutely nothing. Because it's just the way she go. But I try not to work outside of my buncher range either. I stay within, you know, this range right here, so that you're not overreaching, and don't worry, you're going to drive up the other line anyway, so you might as well just leave those trees there. We got 3, and because these are bigger, you guys can make the determination here. We'll say 4 is enough because they're bigger trees, even though our skidder's going to be really bored pulling these. I don't think I'm going to skid this. I think what's going to happen is I'll probably get out here with the piler, like I said, and just walk back and forth to the piles and make these huge super piles is probably what'll happen. We're going to put you... Let's put you right in between these two. Oops. And that's super annoying too. Super annoying when the concrete trees hit each other. Just the worst. So yeah, like I said, in the comments, leave your comments. What do you guys think about FS25? Do you think it's going to be just a rinse and repeat? Do you think it's going to be a whole new game? Is it going to change the world? Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not. But you never know. We'll expand our wideness of this line a little bit here. We got a big gap right here, so we'll lay this guy down right in here. Right about here. Look. So like I said, you kind of got these V patterns, right? That kind of go in and out, in and out. And that way the trees aren't really touching each other. So when you start to pull them together, you're not going to be laying them down on top of each other and having issues with them hitting each other, because that gets really annoying too. Especially when you're trying to skid them or bunch them or do anything like that. We'll start a row right here. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll add to this row because there's like nothing in this one. And you don't have to make huge buncher piles, but it's better to get like a decent amount in them. It's like, I'm going to add this to this pile to you. So that's like a juicy bunch pile right here. Well, juicy in compared to some of the other small ones that we've been making anyway. Okay, well, I'm going to finish cutting this little row here down to this last little grouping, and I think that'll be it for today's video. That's as cynical as she gets. And, yeah. People wonder why I don't work with the partnership program at Giants. It's probably because I'm so cynical of some of the decisions they make. Yeah. Well, someone's got to be, I guess. I got nothing against the company themselves, but they're just doing what every other company's doing. And I don't know any of them. I don't actually have... I have more of a relationship with some of the ambassadors or the partner, whatever the hell you want to call them, from that program than I do with the other ones. I think the biggest thing for me is like community-wise. You know what? Actually, I'll save the community thing for another episode because I've had questions about that as well. Oh, tree's just doing whatever it wants, hey? Let's play this over here. Clean up our mess here for a second. Oh, how the hell did I do that? Look at that, I cut one really high there. Let's see if I can bunch these together a little bit more. Try to keep your bunches nice if you can. That always helps. Slide that in there. And then that in there. Perfect. That looks better. And you got this ugly little stump here. You know what? That's probably a 6-meter log right there, though, so we'll add her to the pile. Perfect. Who's going to know? The processor operator, I guess they'll know, but... And we're going to just cut off these last 3 little bits here. Actually, you know what? We'll do 2, and I'm going to back up to that pile. Screw it. And we'll tilt that down there. Perfect. Right on the money. All right. I guess we'll call it at that. We got a little bit of stuff done. Loaded some trucks. Did some bunching. We got a lot of bunching to do. Actually, if I use this, I can go scroll up. So we got quite a bit down already. But there's a lot of forest ahead of us as well. So it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. All right, guys. We'll leave it at that. And we will catch you in the next one. See ya.